What about the tackhammer? Well, that penalty is avoided if you offer coverage that is minimum essential coverage, and it's affordable, and it provides minimum value. Now we've thrown in two new terms. You have to make the coverage available, it's got to be affordable, and provide minimum value. Let's drill down on what those two concepts are. Okay? Minimum value. That's the plan's share of the total cost out there. And they've given us a calculator. This is something you should work with your TPA, your insurance carrier. But the bottom line is it's got to cover 60% or more of the covered expenses under the plan. Okay? They've got a couple of safe harbors that they've got. You run it through the calculator, you figure out where you land in that regard. But it's real coverage. Okay? It's 60% of the expenses. Now we're looking at affordability. In order to be affordable, you have to meet one of these three safe harbors, and there are three. Number one, the cost of single employee-only coverage does not exceed 9.5% of the employee's W-2. But there's a problem with W-2. Number one, you don't know what it is until the end of the year. Number two, if you have employees that are making 401k contributions, HSA contributions, pre-tax cafeteria plan salary reductions, that drops the W-2 based upon what their benefit election is. So you've got to be pretty careful in using that safe harbor to make sure that you don't have very low wage employees who might decide to drop your coverage and go on the exchange. The second safe harbor is rate of pay. You take the hourly rate of pay, multiply by that number, 130, or the monthly rate of pay for salaried employees, and that's based on gross pay. We don't salary reduce it for those pre-tax elections. And there are a lot of employers that are using the rate of pay safe harbor just because it's more predictable. We don't have to look at what the wages are based upon tax. The final safe harbor is based upon eligibility for the Medicaid under the federal poverty line. And essentially you take the federal poverty limit for a single individual, it's roughly $46,000. I'm going to show you how I get the 90 in just a minute. And if the cost of coverage is less than, 4 times is $46,000, roughly about $12,000. If the cost of coverage is 9.5% of the federal poverty limit for single individual, then you're okay. This number is a little bit less than 12, but I'm going to take 12, the federal poverty line, because I can work with that number. I'm a lawyer, I need nice round numbers, okay? But let's say the FPL, the federal poverty line limit, is $12,000, okay? That very neatly, this is why I use 48, why I use 12, divides by 12 months. It comes to what? $1,000 a month. What is 9.5% of $1,000? $95. If you peg your individual single employee contribution at $95 for your lowest paid people, you've passed. And you're not going to have a sledgehammer tax, you're not going to have a tackhammer tax, you'll be in good shape.